Welcome to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your local experts on all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Listen in as they discuss the current state of the market, the latest trends, and have a little fun while doing it. We do want to say the opinions voiced on this podcast are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individuals. All right, y'all, we are back with This Week in Real Estate. Woo! There's Jonathan and Bryan.
Jonathan, Bryan,
Assemble.
our powers combined.
Assemble.
We are Captain Buy a House.
Yes.
I would
Perfect.
love
That was
for
great.
the viewing audience to have been in the rooms, to fly on the wall for the last 10 or 15 minutes.
I don't know that would have been a good idea.
Probably not a good.
We're going to bring you more positivity.
That's right. We're going to try to spread the positive here.
Than we just let out.
Because
we just aired all the grievances.
I was going to say, I feel cleansed right now. There is a dark green cloud of negativity.
Election cycle got you down?
Oh.
Watch This Week in Real Estate.
Oh.
Because we're going to try not to talk about it.
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal, y'all.
It's tough.
Yeah. How are you doing? Other than now that we've purged?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing. I have so many just good things happening.
You do?
Yeah, kids are happy and healthy and doing fun stuff.
Oh, okay, not economically.
Economically, September and October were tough months, but I'm looking at a good pipeline for November, and that's the end of the October. But hopefully, those in the industry would see kind of the similar things. But who knows? Maybe I'd had my couple of months of beatings while everybody else is doing good, and I'll do good when everybody else is doing bad. Who knows?
I don't know, man. Somebody posted on Facebook the other day. I think it was another loan officer said, "Experienced agents, what advice would you give somebody that's getting their license?" And my advice that I posted back was, go ahead and drop out of real estate school before you spend any more money.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's savage.
Yeah.
Savage.
Well, here's the reality is they're going to drop out anyway, probably. Like statistically speaking.
But those that don't, when did you get into the business?
I got in 2009.
What happened in 2008?
The world fell apart.
And look at you now.
Yeah, and 60% of licensees had retired their licenses.
Yeah.
So there were job openings.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that right now that's not happening.
Right. Yeah, I wonder. I think that we all like. Here's a headline, and we don't have any actual headlines, but something I think that's really surprising over the last couple of years is that we all expected kind of an exodus in the industry of real estate agents and mortgage loan officers. And if you look at the data nationally, trends, the number of NMLS licensed loan officers is way down. But anecdotally here locally, I don't see it. I don't know. But
same thing with real estate agents.
I can think of maybe 2 or 3 loan officers off the top of my head that have stopped doing mortgages. And one of them even came back into the business, and he's just doing it in a different way now, where he's working more internal leads for the credit union that he works for.
I would say that the headline there is optimism is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
And delusional thinking is at an all-time high.
Everyone's thinking, if I can just ride out the storm, I'll be able to take the wave all the way back into the beach.
And guess what? Not everybody's going to get to. And so I need some folks to get realistic here and get the crap out of my way.
Man, yeah. Just throwing it
I'm
on the
bitter
table.
today, Bryan.
Yeah,
I'm bitter.
Jonathan, we're going to spread the positive.
Oh, I'm positive that I'm bitter. I'm positive. Listen, you will never have to worry about knowing where I stand on things.
You don't pull any punches.
Nope. And some people find that refreshing.
Yeah.
Others find it depressing.
A little abrasive.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's me.
It is.
I mean, yeah, a little abrasive today.
So I saw a speaker on Monday, and he talked about how you should be true to yourself. When you have success, don't necessarily, like, he was like, he's Tony Vitello, he's the UT baseball coach. And
He did it.
I didn't do it as the shiny penny. But I think the theme of the presentation was beyond the dugout, like taking sports lessons and applying them to the business world. And I think this was a really cool thing that he's talked about. He's like, one of the questions was, how do you, well, it wasn't even a question, it's something that he addressed. You just won the College World Series. That's a big deal, right? We're on a national championship to the University of Tennessee. They've never won.
In Knoxville, not in Murfreesboro.
In Knoxville, not in Murfreesboro. They got a key to the city of Murfreesboro and all that good stuff, right? Yeah. But anyway, the point that he made that I think is worth anyone listening to, if you've had some success, don't change who you are. Because he said he saw so many assistant coaches and people, just baseball guys, and they got promoted to head coach and they completely changed who they were. They either became more disciplinarian or they became more of a player's coach or whatever it was. Instead of hiring the people that they needed to hire to fill their gaps, they tried to change who they were to address those gaps. And he's like, for me, it's better for me to just continue to be who I am. And if I know, and people call me a player's coach, and he's like, I don't think of myself as a player's coach, but I know that I'm more of a relational kind of coach. And so when it comes to holding people accountable, I needed an assistant on my staff who's good at doing that. So I went and hired somebody for that role instead of changing who I am. So,
well, I think it's because for a lot of folks, success is addictive. And so, every now and then you hit that lightning in a bottle moment where all the right things come together. You got, in his situation, you got the right players, you got the right circumstances with the people that you play, you got the right schedule. I mean, you hit everything right.
Yeah.
And you get to that point of success and it tastes good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get to the next round and this little variable has changed and this variable has changed and this variable has changed. So you want to get that taste again. And in order to do that, you try to force everything to happen. And when you try to force it, you change.
Right.
Your variable changes.
Yeah. Well, and that's, it's like the old Ryman Auditorium thing. Hey, when you stand on the center or you stand on the circle, play the song that brought you. So if you've just won the College World Series or you're a realtor who had a really good 2023 and now you're struggling a little bit in 2024, remember how you got there and go back to your roots and stay true to yourself and your business model and your personality and stay true to yourself, whether you've had success or you're still looking for that success.
Yeah, stay true to where you are and get the crap out of my city if you don't belong here.
Yeah.
There.
Oh boy.
We'll move on into headlines.
What's that? Here back. Headlines. Officially.
Yeah, headlines.
All right, so I've got a couple of some numbers that actually dropped today. ADP employment came out at 230,000 versus 115,000.
When you say ADP employment, this is from the company ADP?
Yes,
okay.
It's their data, so their numbers. And it catches a lot of attention. So their numbers were the forecast for ADP employment was 115,000. Number came in at 233, and the previous number was 143. That's a huge beat, right?
Do what now?
The forecast was 115,000
jobs,
right? And then the number that came in
this
was
is added
233,000
jobs added.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah. And then
so we added over 100,000 more jobs than they anticipated in 1 month.
Yeah, and the previous number
or
was
is it quarter?
No, that's monthly, and the previous was 143,000.
Okay, so I have to ask this question, and I feel like I'm becoming more this guy. Are these numbers manipulated? Like
there's a lot of revisions to them. They come in with a lot.
How
of
in the world?
Let me back up and find this. I'm not gonna try to quote this. I'm gonna read it. I know that's. I
don't see any indication other than the number you just said that supports 100,000 more jobs added in a month than what they predicted.
Okay.
Like, that's crazy.
Here's the headline. And this is, I'm going to credit the source. This is from MBS Live. It's been an interesting morning for the bond market so far. ADP employment came in much stronger than expected. 15 minutes later, Q3 GDP was slightly weaker, 2.8 versus 3.0, but with higher core inflation seen in core PCE prices. This is the only Q3 GDP report that's relevant, market mover, because the next two GDP reports will be stale by the time they come out. Bottom line, between ADP and PCE, bonds had reason to sell, and that's what they did at first. A few short minutes after GDP, 10-year yields turned around and moved to the lows of the day. This is a bit deceptive considering what's going on the short end of the yield curve, where the 2-year treasuries are losing much more than the 10s are gaining. That's a lot of in the weeds kind of commentary there, but you're still seeing a little bit of inversion with the 2-year Treasury losing much more than the 10 years are gaining, and then you've got the current MBS 30-year MBS is trading down 0.12%, which is going to result in a little bit of higher rates, but that's not a big move considering some of the big days that we've had lately. And for employment to come in that strong and it only,
I mean, it's almost double, there, Brian.
Yeah, I know. So for it to come in that strong and rates to only be moving as little as they are tells me that they're looking more towards inflation, and also that maybe a lot of that movement might have been like the if you've been following interest rates, you know they've been on a tear the last 6 weeks. They've been just going. So maybe they're reaching a ceiling where traders are willing to go right now.
Or maybe the people that know and the people that are trading don't believe the job numbers.
It could be that too. Yeah.
I mean, so, all right, hear me out here, okay? Is it possible? Nah, I'm not going to go there. But there's this big thing happening next week. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but
yeah, there's the Fed meetings next week.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly what it is. And there's a lot of connectivity amongst different groups and people and things like that that have more pull. And here's the thing. You said there will be a lot of revisions to that. But when?
Yeah.
When do the revisions come out?
After the election.
And is it one of those things where it's like we print this salacious story on the front page and then we print the revision or the retraction on page, 19?
A month later, after the market's moved.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, and most people, if you were to go on the street, okay, and you were to say, hey, which one of these things is more important to you when it comes to the economy? A strong jobs market, mortgage interest rates, bond rates, or GDP?
It's jobs every day.
It's always jobs.
It's always jobs. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and I was like, this might surprise you, but the general consensus is, I say general consensus. That's there are a lot of people who think that if Trump wins the election, the economy will be stronger. But we have to understand what that means. So if you're looking for Trump to win the election next week, and that means that interest rates are going to go lower and the economy is going to go stronger, there's a dichotomy there. Those things don't happen the same way. So if Trump wins, the expectation would be for interest rates to stay the same or maybe go up a little bit because the economy will be strong. There's no incentive for the Federal Reserve to lower rates going into a strong economy. Going into a strong economy is when we should be paying down deficit, when we should be holding money back in reserves.
And earning more.
Mm-hmm. But there was a great bit on CNBC yesterday about that, about how, hey, look, both candidates are expected to grow our deficit pretty significantly. And we have a really strong economy. Like in the past, we've always been able to shrink the deficit when we've had a strong economy. And we've got two candidates who are both run on platforms that those who study these things will say, well, we'll both increase our national deficit. And that's not good.
They're just indifferent. And
it comes down to nobody wants to cut government spending. At the end of the day, to really be able to shrink the deficit, we would have to cut some spending, but nobody in Washington wants to do that. And so the question
they just don't want to cut. They just don't want to cut their pet side of the spending.
The question that CNBC posed is: do politicians in Washington not want to cut the government spending because people don't really seem to care about the deficit anymore, or is the fact that people don't really seem to care about the deficit why that's not going to happen?
No, I don't think. I think it's because if you ask one side, well, we need to cut spending. Well, how are we going to cut spending? Oh, it's all the social programs.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you ask the other side, well, we need to cut spending. Well, how are we going to cut spending? Oh, it's military and
we need to raise taxes on the rich.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they both want the same thing. Yeah. They just are going about which facet
projects they don't want cut.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really, it was on CNBC. Mosh News is somebody I follow on Instagram, and I'll give an endorsement to Mosh. He did a cameo for my wife's birthday, by the way. That was really cool. He's a great source to follow. Very impartial. He'll report on both sides of the aisle. He came into kind of Instagram popularity during COVID, when it was very clear you could turn on one news channel and get one story, and turn on another news channel and get a completely different story or take on the same story.
And both of them were lies in some way.
And Mosh did a really good job of kind of playing the middle and playing both sides and just being objective, which objective journalism is near and dear to my heart. And
it doesn't exist, dude.
Follow Mosh News.
Okay.
I'm telling you, follow Mosh News. It's good stuff. And if you go check his page out, you can scroll back and you can find that CNBC bit that he rebroadcast or whatever. He shared their bit. CNBC also, like a lot of people say, oh, it's CNN, it's ABC, it's whatever, it's whatever. CNBC, I think, they just report economic data. Like, they report economic news, and there's a lot less bias when it comes to that because it truly is about the market.
Or it's, you can spend.
I've watched CNBC. I watch a lot of CNBC, and they'll have a guest on who is, going to lean one way or another, but they're regardless of which way it seems that person's leaning. I've seen the same anchors rip apart and really ask hard questions to people from both sides. So I think CNBC is a good station to follow.
Good to know. I just try to tune all of it out.
Well, there's I think that's how they win. Because we just get so beat down that we just say, forget it. I just want to live my life. I'm just going to do my thing. And when you were asking that question a minute ago, what's most important to people? Is it the bond rates, mortgage rates, or the employment? Well, the answer to that question is the employment. But at the end of the day, I think most people are going to vote based on either their political party alignment, or they're going to vote based on their anecdotal experiences. Does my life suck right now because my job is lost, or my wife's lost their job, or my parents have lost their job?
Right.
Like, I'm going to vote based on what I'm feeling and who I think is going to help me get what I want.
Which president was it that said, ask yourself, are you in a better position now than you were 4 years ago?
I don't remember who, but that's it.
Yeah. So,
and I think a lot of people right now, anecdotally, would say, no,
I'm not
in a better place.
But I don't know that I'm in a better place than I was 8 years ago.
Right.
Like, I don't know if the previous four was better or not. Right. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah.
So,
and there's so much. We got the environment issues, you got social issues. There's so much
wars now.
Yeah. And the threat of war.
Do we get involved? Do we not get involved?
The threat of being pulled into something on a global scale is very real right now.
Well, there are definitely some world actors right now that want us to be pulled in.
Yeah, yeah.
They're picking.
They're
tapping.
They're poking and prodding and see what they can get away with.
Oh, good times.
So
I have no idea where we are in the show right now.
We're about to head into market movers.
Isn't that what we just did?
No, we did headlines.
Oh, okay.
We gotta do This Is Real.
Oh yeah. We switched the agenda. Yeah, this is real. Look, we need some levity.
We need a break.
I'll tell you something that's real, and it's gonna be fun.
What's that?
Tomorrow, Halloween.
Yeah.
At Cedar Glade from 5 to 7. 102.9 The Buzz, which was my favorite radio station growing up, other than 94 FM, Lightning Thunder 94, right? 102.9 The Buzz is going to be here, and they're giving away concert tickets. And they're giving away free tickets every 20 minutes. The costume contest winners, this is separate from the 20 minutes, are getting Jelly Roll tickets.
Nice.
The grand prize tickets for the night are, drum roll please, the 2-day Metallica show.
Yes.
Coming up.
Both days?
Yes.
Nice.
Dude, that's like a $450 per person ticket, and they're giving away 2.
That's fantastic.
And we got beer, and we're gonna have food. Hot dog guy and Codger's gonna be here. It's gonna be a fun night. That is a fun room.
Yes.
Man,
It's real.
I like it. I like that we've got, like, it kind of reminds me of a grown-up Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got ornaments hanging from the tree.
That could be Cherry right there.
Yeah, that might be. Why don't you? If you love this room, why don't you marry it?
It's a boat.
It is a. Is this a boat, Trent?
What?
Is
It's
this
a
houseboat?
I don't know.
It's a yacht. Look, there's a yacht in the window. This is in a marina.
Oh wow.
Do you see that? Or maybe that's just the dock and that's the boat outside of it. But that is definitely a yacht outside the glass.
Yeah, it really, really looks like one.
It doesn't look like it is one.
Yeah.
Look at the window up above it. See the little oval shaped window?
Yeah.
Wow.
And who is this?
I don't think that this is on a boat though. I think you're right. This is maybe like their house just goes right up to the water line.
Is this some kind of messed up Tony the Tiger right there by the sliding door?
I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying.
And there's something up on the ceiling too.
Yeah.
It looks like a Roman fresco of some sort. See that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
There's got nice blinds.
The blinds are nice.
You know what my problem with this room is? Like, it looks comfortable, right? Like the chairs and stuff look like they might be cushy and comfortable. I could not rest in this room.
No.
My ADHD is off the charts right now looking at this picture.
What's the first thing you think you'd try to mess with?
What do you mean?
Like if you're in this room, where would your ADHD go? What's the first thing that you would do?
I'd probably go to the cylindrical pillows on the couch.
Okay.
Yep. And I'd probably start like bottle flipping them.
Okay.
And then I would probably think about how can I use those cylindrical pillows to hit the ornaments on that tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say the ornaments in the tree. I'd be like a cat, just to kind of like tapping them.
And I'd go pick that Tony the Tiger nose over there. See the big nose right there?
Yeah.
Yep. I'd have to go pick that
okay.
nose.
Yeah, I see it now. I see it now.
And I'd also have to roll around on the tiger rug.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Nice find.
Yeah.
All right.
I can dig it.
Moving on.
Do you think that tiger killed that zebra?
I don't.
And then got food poisoning and that's how it died? So you got 2 rugs for the price of 1?
No.
Probably not.
He just said no.
Probably not. Probably not. just no. Oh man, that's great. All right, market mover.
All right, where are we at now? Market movers. I mean, guys, listen, we have beaten this horse dead. It is, all the flesh has come off. It's just a skeleton horse. Halloween coming up.
Coming on.
The biggest market mover, period, hands down.
It's not the Federal Reserve meeting next week.
It is not anything except this stupid election. Let's get it over with.
I do wonder what the Federal Reserve is going to do.
They're probably just going to breathe for a minute.
I think that's what I would expect, but I think there's some buzz that they might lower rates a quarter again. I just don't see it.
I don't think so. Not with 125,000 more jobs or whatever added, and like there's too much.
GDP came in 0.2 lower, but I mean it's just one quarter. I don't think that they. I kind of honestly hope that they don't. I think that we just need to kind of pause, reset. Let's see who wins the election.
Let's get out of this cycle.
Let's get out of this and let the data work. Let the 50 basis point cut work a little bit. Come back in a month and see.
And let all the people breathe.
Yeah.
Because so run this scenario. When's the reserve meeting? Wednesday.
Yeah.
Literally the day after.
Literally the day after.
Okay.
We may not even know when we wake up.
Probably won't.
We may not even know Wednesday morning when we wake up who the president
So if you're the Federal Reserve and you're supposed to be impartial, right? And whoever wins, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you immediately go and drop rates.
Yeah.
What does that say? Oh, they feel great about.
Yeah.
Therefore, they must be backed by.
Or they feel terrible about the outcome of the election and that they feel like they need to lower rates to keep the economy trucking along.
Their best move is to do absolutely nothing.
I agree completely. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say. We had a big conversation about all of this stuff during headlines, and so I think we can move on.
Yeah, I think
Shiny
so too.
penny. Back to you.
So I think, again, it's back to the election, but the stories that I heard of people having to wait in line to early vote are awesome because I think we've had a really hard problem with voter turnout. So my shiny penny for this week will be that that people are hitting the ballots and they are going to vote. And there were I came out of the gym. I work out at SportsCom, and I came out one morning a week or two ago, and there was a line of people to go vote, and I was like, "That's good." You know?
Do you think that's everywhere, or do you think that's just in the strong blue, strong red, whatever, like in the strongly decided places?
I think this election's an outlier. Normally, and when I say that, I do think that it's everywhere that you're probably seeing that. And I think that as much as I usually kind of poo-poo on elections as being like, oh, that's just an excuse to not do something right now, I think there's more validity to this election cycle truly is disrupting the market more so than the normal. Because most of the time it's like, okay, you know, what we said on the show, on November 6th, everybody's going to just go about living their lives like normal. I don't know that that's the case in 2024.
Yeah. I'm voting for Dolly, just so you know. I'm writing in Dolly.
I hope you do. I hope she gets a ton of votes, too.
She'd do better.
I hope she gets enough votes to, like, for somebody to report that Dolly Parton had 1% of the popular vote.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
So, all right. So let's do our whole, what's our new segment called?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Maybe.
We should have tacos with it and call it Let's Taco About It.
Oh boy.
Move the show to Tuesdays and call it a thing.
Let's do this. So my conversation on this, and we briefly touched on this already, is just the groupthink mentality that our nation has truly adopted. And it's funny to me how many people will espouse their I'm an individual, you know, all of that kind of stuff, but then turn around and spout out the exact same talking points that whatever their party alignment happens to be has fed them, right? We really are losing, and we really are evaporating the middle where conversation can be had, and we're instead adopting talking points, and it worries me, Bryan. And I don't know for sure that this election cycle at the end of it on the 6th is really going to be better.
Yeah.
Like I can't look you in the eye and say 100%. Every other election cycle that I've been a real estate agent in, and this is I need to go back and count. This is either number 4 or number 5. I felt completely confident about that. Yeah. And I just don't this time, because whatever the outcome is, the other side is probably going to contest it. It's probably going to get ugly, and it may not be over for a couple months.
Right. This is the 3rd or 4th election in a row where I think you have a very large percentage of Americans who don't like either candidate.
Yeah.
And
they're picking the lesser of two evils in their mind.
And the first time that happened, I was like, well, this kind of stinks. The second time it happened, I was like, come on. Is this really what we have to choose from? And now it's happening again. And I'm like, well,
and I'll tell you, it erodes the confidence in the overall system.
It does.
For me.
It does.
Right? Has this job become so undesirable and so charged that truly we can't get a statesman. We can't get somebody that I'm truly proud.
I don't know if undesirable is the reason for it, because I think there's a lot of people who want the job. It's just, I think it's the party system and the primaries and the way they're orchestrated and the ability of the two-party system we have to prevent there being a valid, viable third-party option.
Yeah, no, that's true. And a third party or a fourth party or whatever would actually disrupt and make people actually talk about issues.
Yes.
And that's the thing is we don't hardly talk about, at least on this stage, we don't talk about issues anymore. Right. We just hurl insults.
We have one debate. Like, was there one presidential debate and one vice president debate?
And the presidential debate wasn't even with the Democratic candidate.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It was with the guy that dropped out.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, they never did debate.
No.
Well, and Trump never got on stage together and debated each other.
Not one time.
Wow.
Because everybody knows that they couldn't.
They would just be hurling insults at each other.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
This I don't know. Like, I'm embarrassed by it.
I remember Gary Johnson almost got to the debate stage.
Yeah.
And the Republicans and Democrats both were like,
no.
This is one thing we'll agree on. Absolutely not. Don't let a libertarian up here.
He would have destroyed him.
Yeah.
That's who I voted for that year.
Same.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's discouraging, and this is why I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah.
And you want to be optimistic, and you want to feel like your vote matters and your vote counts. But if you're voting to pick the lesser of two evils, does your vote really matter?
Yeah.
Think about that pause for a second, right? And it's our civic duty to vote, blah, 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 blah. Like you hear this all the time. Yeah. Sometimes it's your civic duty to say no.
Yep.
Sometimes it's your civic duty to say D, none of the above.
And you can do that, but go to the and that back to the shiny penny. Go to the poll and vote though, because you may not like either one of those presidential candidates, but you need to be voting in the local elections.
Okay, I get that.
And I think that's where we see like incredibly low voter turnout is usually like so back to the shiny penny, maybe it's a little bit of a tarnish here. The local elections earlier in the season, like the Republican primaries for city council and county commission and that state house and all that stuff, incredibly low turnout for those.
Well, so
incredibly low turnout.
I want to pick a bone on that one, okay? Just for a second. All right. You just said that you want to see a viable third party.
Yeah.
Right. And that would help things. Okay. And which I 100% agree with. But do you know one of the ways that we keep not having a third party? Think about this for a second. Okay. One way that we absolutely 100% support and not just support, but like encourage a two-party system is by the fact that we use public dollars, public voting, public, like all of our public resources to host the party's primaries.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans, those are not government entities.
Right.
Those are private entities.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But yet the public holds their ability, like holds their contests.
Yeah.
To choose their own candidates.
Yeah. Wow.
And not only do they do that, but they only do it
for them. I never thought about that.
So if I'm a libertarian party and I want to have my libertarian primary, I've got to do it as a libertarian party.
Yeah.
Separate from the public.
Yeah.
And so what does that tell the general public? Subconsciously, it says that these two are the only two.
Yeah.
And not only are they the only two, but because the public hosts their elections, their primaries, they're not even really private. Like most people don't separate the fact that Democrat and Republican parties are private.
Yeah.
They just think that it's somehow public.
They're public. Yeah, they're not.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. That is wild.
So we spend those resources to help these public or private institutions
determine who they're going to put up, not for president of the United States, but for
all
state
of it,
house,
everything.
For any election that
county commission, for God's sakes. Yeah. Well, I don't think we actually do that there. I think those are chosen differently, but
I don't know that they
don't have primaries.
Yeah, they don't have primaries, and I don't think that they do. They declare a party.
Some of them
do.
You almost have to now.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Yeah. Everything beyond, like, shout out to Michael Shirley, beyond road superintendent, you basically have to declare a party.
Yeah.
And even there, you kind of align with one or the other.
Yeah.
Because that's all the people know.
Right.
There you go.
Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it. This has been another This Week in Real Estate.
Let's wrap it
Politics
up.
edition.
Politics edition.
We don't talk politics. We're talking religion next week.
All right. Oh, Lordy, here we go.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Here we go.
I got all kinds of things on that.
So next week, make sure you tune in and see our instant reaction to Tuesday night's news.
Dude, it's gonna be wild.
Maybe we should just not.
I'm boarding up windows, man. Oh right. Gosh.
Well, I'm taking this out. Thanks, everybody. We might see you next week. Yo. Thank you for listening to another episode of This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your go-to resource for all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. We will see y'all on the next one.
Now for the nitty-gritty. Primis Mortgage Company is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC. Primis Mortgage NMLS number 1894879, BK number 1042893, ML number 1894879. As always, all loans are subject to credit approval and product guidelines. Equal housing lender.